city council election. So I'd like to have the various candidates introduce themselves.
Thanks, Richard. My name is Wally Knotts. I'm running for CD4 representing Sherman Oaks. And in my 15 seconds, I guess the thing I would tell you is I'm very happy to receive the endorsement of Dennis Zine in the last couple weeks. Dennis is doing an event for me, and I'm very happy about that. I'll be back and talk to you folks about more of the issues after we hear from Tom LaBonge.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Joan Pelago, and I will be running for Council District 4 as well, March 3rd, 2015. Richard always says, I don't want to know what you're going to do, I want to know what you've done. So I'm going to just give you 3 things because it would take the whole night if I told you everything. Traffic signal on Woodcliff and Mulholland. Left turn arrow with my friend Jules at Woodman and Ventura. Left turn arrow at Hazeltine. That's 3. But thank you. March 3rd, 2015. Please vote. Just vote.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Oscar Winslow. That's OscarWinslow.com. Yeah, you remember me. I passed out cards, spoke to a few of you. What I want to say about the past is on the back side of the card. What I want to say about the future is on the front side of the card. So hopefully you'll go to my website, get more information at OscarWinslow.com. And again, I know there are a couple tables here who are Joan Pellico favorites. Trust me, I will win you over. Again, I'm running for Council District 4, and I will earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, everybody. So, how you guys doing? I hope you're doing okay. My name is Ricardo Benitez, and I'm your candidate for the Senate for the District 18. My plan is simple: represent you. I'm not from Sacramento. I'm from the community. I got my business here, so I will represent you as well. I will represent everybody else. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Good evening, David Hernandez, and I'm running for Los Angeles City Council District 2. That may not be in the district here, but the votes and the decisions I make will have a direct impact on your quality of life here, such as the Sportsman's Lodge, Harvard Westlake, Weddington Golf Course, many things, and also putting some teeth to force developers to prove that SB 1818, that if they're going to claim a hardship in order to overbuild, they're going to have to prove it. And lastly, I'm also the lead proponent in the ballot initiative to repeal and replace the exclusive trash franchise in the city of Los Angeles that impacts every business, every school, every nonprofit, every apartment owner of 4 units or more, and creates a monopoly. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. Most of you know me. My name is Jay Bieber. I am the newest candidate for City Council in Council District 4, one of the 350 people that are running for this seat. And a lot of you know me as the person that got rid of the red light cameras in Los Angeles. Thank you. And I've also been working on parking reform. I was here a couple of months ago talking to you about that and our plans to improve parking and make it more fair and make it more equitable for everybody. And worked on a lot of other things in terms of the neighborhood. I'm the second vice president of the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council. We're working on some street issues on our street here, and we've got a lot of good ideas. We don't have time to talk about everything, but here's something
But after the meeting.
But after the meeting, I will be here. My website is j4la.com, so it's J-A-Y, the number 4, LA.com. And just as a really quick idea of like, why am I the person, why did I get into this race? That's what people want to know. And the way I answer that is, look around you tonight. Why are you here? And the reason is because you care about your community, you care about the things that happen, you care about good stewardship of your money. So I'm getting the hug.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it was really great to see everyone tonight.
Thanks.
You give a politician a microphone and get a ribbon from his hands. My name is Mark Reed. I'm the United States Congressional candidate for the 30th District. By a show of hands, how many of you think the federal government's doing a good job for you?
Yeah.
One or two, so about 1% of you, a half a percent. How many of you would retain an employee you only approved of 9% of the time? Raise your hands. 90%. No, 9% of the time. That's congressional approval rating.
Okay.
Not only that, you remember the visceral campaign between Howard Berman and Brad Sherman. Howard has become a very good friend of mine because Howard is an old school style of politician, center-left Democrat, a very good individual. Howard is supportive of me. Please look at my website, markreedforcongress.com. I'm going to pass out.
to pull it.
Yes. No, back.
Okay,
I'm going to pass out some flyers for everybody, though. Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, John Eisen and Bob Anderson.
I have a success story to tell you. For decades at the Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Park, during the weekdays, tennis was free. And the Recreation and Parks Commission, in their wisdom, decided to start charging in the summer months, July, August, and September. And so a group of tennis players, mainly retired people, maybe 30, 40, 50 of them.
Are you retired?
Together, not me.
Oh.
Came to me and said, what can we do about it? And so I went to my go-to person, Joan Pellico, for help. And then we went to Tommy Newman and to Tom LaBonge. And I want to give credit to all those three people, especially Tom LaBonge came through and the city reversed itself, and now tennis is free on weekdays in the mornings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And if we could have deputies come up to introduce themselves. Deputies of elected officials.
Hi, my name is Bob Anderson. I want to give you a little report on the I-405 project. The bad part is it's not good news. If you live anywhere near Valley Vista and Sepulveda, you get stuck in that traffic and you say, how much longer does it take them to paint 7 stripes on the street? I contacted them today and they said, well, we can't tell you about that, but the whole project will be done at the end of November. It was the end of June a little while ago, then it was the end of September. I hope that it gets done sooner. I have a request, Councilman LaBonge. Will you take over the 405 project and get the darn thing done? They block my street off every day. I don't know how many of you were impacted, but it's going to be a few more months. Sorry, folks.
Thank you. Tamara?
Hi everybody, I'm Tamara Gallatin. I'm a Deputy City Attorney. I'm the neighborhood prosecutor for Sherman Oaks. I want to give you a quick update of what I'm working on and what our office is in the area. First of all, some of you hopefully have noticed there are a few medical marijuana businesses on Ventura, so that is good. We are also, Van Nuys Vice is doing a lot of enforcement for the no smoking ordinances on the hookah bars where they're smoking hookah indoors. So already 2 of those locations have closed rather than stop smoking the hookah indoors where food and alcohol is served. So we're continuing to do those enforcements. I'm filing those cases. Last month, I think I spoke about the city attorney's neighborhood justice program. He wrote an op-ed in the paper about it. For any of you interested in serving on one of these panels, where you can hear actual real cases, and you're going to be, sit and listen on low-level quality of life offenses and help craft a sentence. You can call me or send me an email, and I will get an application out to you. And last but not least, there was a press conference today that Mike Fuhrer was at in Van Nuys on Yaroslavsky to talk about the opening of a number of beds for the chronically homeless, mentally ill here in the San Fernando Valley as an alternative to prosecution. So hopefully that will be a good thing for a handful of folks that were really having a hard time getting off the street, and they're really taking a lot of LAPD resources. So that's what we're working on here in Sherman Oaks.
Thank you. Stephen?
Good evening. My name is Stephen Butcher. I work for Assembly Member Nazarian. We are the state representative for this area. I will have an update more for you next month. The governor has until the end of this month to sign all the bills. He did sign film and TV tax credits. We're very happy about film and TV tax credits being extended and amplified in the state of California. Very important to our industry. And if you have any questions, concerns, I can help with DMV issues, EDD issues, Caltrans, whatever it may be, any state issues, please feel free to call our office. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is the Assemblyman going to run for City Council?
I work for the Assembly member for the state. I cannot answer that question.
Okay.
I work for his state assembly. We have 12 years, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to introduce members of the board. I assume people from Tom's office are going to be introduced by Tom, right? Okay, I'd like to introduce, before we have Tom, I want to introduce members of our board of directors, starting with Matt Epstein, Chuck Betts, where are the, Jules, Bob Anderson, John Eisen, Elke Heimeyer, and Marshall Long, who did I forget? And Jay, of course, right in front of me. So if you need anything done in the community, you know who to contact. These are the people. With that, did I mention that the meeting in October is on the 4th Wednesday? I think I did. Okay. With that, I'd like to introduce our councilman. How long have you been here?
40 years I've been serving.
40, what?
40 years.
Oh, come on, you've been, Sherman Oaks, 2 years. And he's done a lot in 2 years. So, this is our Councilman Tom LaBonge.
Richard Close, give a big hand for Richard Close. Very special day. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tom LaBonge, and I'm honored to serve the city of Los Angeles. I started in 1974 on Mayor Bradley's Youth Council. Remember with Mayor Bradley and O'Connor, we were up at the observatory. And up at the observatory, the mayor made a presentation. It was 1975. As he was leaving with his police officer, a woman needed help. The mayor pulled over, got out of his car, got jumper cables, started her car, and got her on her way. I have jumper cables in my car, always have. God bless Tom Bradley for so many good things that he did. And he loved the valley. Give it up for Tom Bradley right there. Then I worked for John Ferraro also, who was a great leader for the city for 35 years, a council member. And I got a great opportunity working for John, and he always said, you help people, you're helping the city. That is the key. So tonight here in Sherman Oaks, give you an overview on some things, answer your questions, let you know how fortunate we are to have such great neighborhoods. I have a lot of favorite things about Los Angeles. I love San Pedro. I was there last Sunday night, had lobster. It was very good. Joe Buscaino, the councilman, down on the wharf. But I love some parts of Sherman Oaks especially well. Valley Vista, I think, is one of the best streets in the city of Los Angeles. Anybody live on Valley Vista right here? Yeah, one of the greatest streets, so pretty. And Salisbury is the best, Stansbury, thank you. His cousin Saul, who lives over in the Fairfax district. No, all got that. The best street, lined street in the city, and special as it is. So a couple of things I did want to address, Richard. There is term limits in Los Angeles, and unfortunately, after what is a 40-year career, I'll be termed out in June 30th, but I got to work to the last day, and also push a voice for the good of all Los Angeles. What I want to address to you is something tonight that I will put on tomorrow at the San Fernando Valley Council of Governments. That is members of the Los Angeles City Council, members of Santa Clarita City Council, San Fernando, Burbank, and Glendale. It's what they call a COG, a region, a sphere of influence. We have to address some existing challenges on the Ventura Freeway, which is right out there. Right now, there's 2 lanes into Burbank, Glendale, 2 lanes into the valley. Within the existing right-of-way, I want to see a lane in either direction. Now, I'm thankful to my great planning chief, Renee Weitzer. Renee, get out here. She put the effort on anything that I said we wanted. She pushed the NBC Universal, and there's going to be an additional lane in each direction. So that's a plus for us. I know you're not all East Valley people, but a lot of Burbank people come over Barham. And if there's opportunity to keep people on the freeway, I want us to have them stay on the freeway, out of the neighborhoods. Long range, and I'm looking for the youngest person here. I want to connect the road between, right there, we go there, on the, from the Hollywood Freeway to the Ventura Freeway East, the 134, because it does work. And then we go west here to Sherman Oaks, and I know Jerry Silver may not like this, but I do believe, because of the curlicue that we have, we spent $1 billion plus on the 405. There should be a flyover or some type of connection from the 101 west to the 405 south. It slows it down, and then we were fooling ourselves. Our freeway system is like our arteries. If they're clogged, they could hurt us, and they hurt us. And I want to see us, the clogs cleaned out. These are I'm going to present. I do have a map, which I made, but Richard, it's too small, because you really need your glasses. We're going to pass them out so that you have them, but also I'll give you a bigger, more formal after I present it to the clog. Another thing that I always believe in is in the future we are going to have, and this is a 30-year plan, because it does take that long to do these capital projects. The subway that stops in North Hollywood should continue to Valley Plaza, underground, and then it should pop up and go out the 170 freeway, out the 5 into the Silmar connector, the metro there. Subway moves, heavy rail moves people. The orange line should be converted to a rail line. That rail line should go through to the Burbank Airport, then to the Burbank Transit Center. Connectivity of all these transit elements do make a difference. I was fortunate to travel in my life and be in other cities. I think Los Angeles, the red car was an effective tool, but then gas was cheap and so was land, so they kept building and building. Had we kept the right-of-ways out Sherman Way, had we kept the right-of-ways up Vineland and other parts of the region, it would have been better. We didn't, but now we got to play catch-up on that. And it's not all of us who will take transit, but it's a blend of others that will help lessen the roadways and try to keep neighborhoods safe. I'm a big proponent of Pauline Chan, who's an engineer with the Department of Transportation on neighborhood mitigations, trying to keep traffic out of neighborhoods. Because it's like ants, they run wherever it's free on that. The other thing too, long range is the transit line down Van Nuys Boulevard. We get to the orange line. Wanted to go either underground to Westwood, which is a lot of money, but you know, they tunnel in Italy, they tunnel in other parts of the world. It can be done. Or if technology improves, Richard, that means the little engine that makes it, move it off Van Nuys Boulevard and have it get over to the San Diego Freeway. If technology improves, they say it's too tough to pull it over the middle of the freeway or something. I want to see our freeways integrated. Now, we'll see what it is. You know, the one thing about technology, what's on the market today is going to change in 5 years. It is a long-range plan, but we have to call for it. And I think we need a champion for that. I happen to be for one candidate for supervisor. I don't know if you mentioned it. Did I mention the one for?
Please don't mention Carolyn's name.
No, it's for supervisor. You're talking about Carolyn Ramsey. That's a different, that's this. I'm talking about Bobby Schreiber. I'm talking about Bobby Schreiber. I think Bobby Schreiber will be more attentive to us on the MTA board. Okay, and I know some of you disagree, and that's the great thing about America. We can agree to disagree. But I'm a Bobby Schreiber guy in the partnership that will help us get our voice out. I think he has a better skill to listen and take action on that. But I also think it's incumbent upon us to put a plan up so that people know that we want it. What the Valley did in the past historically, and Alan Robbins said, we don't want this, we don't want this, we don't want this. So what happened to the Valley? You didn't get it. And we got to say what we're for. And so that's real important. That's another thing that I did want to cover for you. But also I want to introduce Renee Weitzer, who recently has given the assignment to shepherd the issues related to the Sunkist building. Now I remember when the Sunkist building was down on Hope Street, right across from the Central Library. They moved out here to the Valley. And when I first got here 2 years ago, there was thought of tearing it down. I kind of like that architecture. I think it's quite interesting. and I think it should be saved. But then there's also the components around it. Renee, give us your impression, your work. She was the one who brought us the Grove. If you like the Grove, give Renee a big hand, okay? She's the one who brought us the food trucks on Wilshire Boulevard. Say something.
Hi.
Oh, wait a minute, before you start. Renee, are you familiar with the valley? I mean, you don't live in the valley. Do you have any roots in the valley?
I have so many roots in this
And she was the former Daily News Woman of the Year because she stopped the Englewood racetrack from coming to Sepulveda. She saved Sepulveda Boulevard. Biggest impact. I got the basin. I got that. I got to save the boulevard, then the basin, Richard. The Woman of the Year.
She brought indoor plumbing to the valley.
I got it. I know. Wait till the questions afterwards. Wait till the questions afterwards.
Renee, give us some information.
Okay.
Come on, Renee. Don't be shy.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. I see a lot of old friends. I worked for Joel Wax, Councilman Joel Wax for 9 years. And I love Joel Wax. And we did we prevented a lot of the subdivisions south of Ventura Boulevard, Marshall Long. I remember a lot of people from those days. I lived in Encino for 18 years. I was president of the Encino Property Owners for 15 years. I did a lot of projects in the valley, which benefits everybody. Tom may not remember, doesn't know this, but we did save our valley. That was another issue that we did when we prevented scheduled airlines into Van Nuys Airport. There will never be any scheduled airlines into Van Nuys Airport because of our effort in the early 70s. Anyway, I've been assigned to this wonderful, famous project, the Sunkist Project, and I'm happy to work with all of you. I've been doing land use for 31 years. I've been very lucky in my career. I've worked for 3 fabulous men, Joel Wax, John Ferraro, and of course, Tom LaBonge. How lucky can you be? So all the emails that I'm getting, I will respond to every single person by phone or email. I have already met with a couple of your zoning people, and I'm happy to meet with everybody. It's early on. Don't worry, we'll work it out. Thank you very much.
1-800 Renee Weitzer. No, she's in City Hall. I kid you. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. I do want to say Tommy Newman is our area deputy. Tommy, step out here. One thing we do believe in is public works. We're going to get Van Nuys Boulevard repaved, and we work with the Public Works Department. They're going to grind it down, and then they're going to pave it from Magnolia all the way south through to Ventura Boulevard. And the date of this is when, Tommy?
By Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving. Before Thanksgiving, or you're going to be transferred to another department. Now, I'm kidding you. We will get that done, and it's amazing how our crews work. They are very effective in big city street paving, so on that. Good job, Tom. Similar to what we did on Ventura Boulevard. We did that issue there. I know a lot of you are not soccer fans on the issue there, but we are converting 3 fields for your grandchildren, soccer fields with synthetic turf, Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Parks, which is a plus. In addition to that, we mentioned the tennis. In addition to that, the best pool in the city is at Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Park. Absolutely the best pool. The aquatics there are so good, which is real important. One other thing that I do have on the line, and Carrie, I want to say Kajoyan over at Station 88 did a wonderful job a week ago Thursday. Give her a big hand at the 9/11 event, Station 88. And what was so impressive that day, we heard stories from people who really experienced it. And some of the stories that we did hear were from people from our own fire department who went to New York. One of them was Captain Scott, who now works at Station 27 in Hollywood. And he spoke of when they did go to New York, they were greeted so warmly and they felt so good. Some of the New York firefighters were in the station 5 or 6 or 7 days, and they said what we could do to help, and say, you LA guys get on the trucks. We'll have our guy drive. And they gave them some time off. But they told the story of the effect of 9/11. I mentioned that too because I think we're at a challenge. If you see something, say something. The world is very fragile right now. So I just want you to have a program about safety, Richard. You're so good at it. And also earthquake preparedness, because there will be another quake. So I do want to say one thing too at Station 88. I want to see the city buy all the land from the federal government. I don't want any development there. I want it to be used for an emergency center, an earthquake center at Station 88, all the way up to Magnolia there as it goes along. So that kind of is a quick overview. We're going to ask questions right now. So Matt, you're going to do the questions and we'll go from there.
Excellent, thank you.
Does anybody have a birthday tonight? If anybody got a birthday, they get the free question from the floor. No one has a birthday tonight, so go.
You ready?
We're ready. And you're welcome to go to our field office at Stern and Ventura Boulevard. Another thing I want to invite you on, we're working with photo friends at the library and the collection. We're going to have a great exhibit of the old valley, which is really kind of going to be beautiful coming up in a few months. Thank you, Matt.
All right, so we have a bunch of questions, so hopefully we'll get through them all. If I don't ask your question tonight, it's not because it's the best question around. It might be because I can't read it. There's a couple that are horrible writing, and there's a couple that don't have anything to do with city council. So, but I will hopefully get to every question. And if I don't get to your question, Tom promises he'll be here until at least midnight, so to answer every question. That's why he rolled up his shirt sleeves.
I'll be home from Mrs. LaBonge, but no, then I got to do your place, man.
Okay, that sounds like fun. All right. So I'm not asking these questions. I'm going to say the person's name. So if I say your name, please stand up so you can address your question. The first question is from Bill Burko. I don't think I got the last name right. And if you're embarrassed, you don't want to stand up, you don't have to. Then he'll just respond to all of you. This is the easiest question. On June 30th next year, you will be retiring, termed out. What do you see as your legacy to the city of Los Angeles and to Sherman Oaks?
Well, I think the biggest thing is service to people and listening to people and trying to help people and find your goals. Whatever your goals are as a person, that is what satisfies me. I've done big things that I'm proud of, but the legacy is service. It really is. What do you call it that?
All right, this next question, I love this question. You were just talking about resurfacing Van Nuys Boulevard. This is from Arlene Dunez. Arlene, are you here? There you are, back there. And I love this question because I'm going to follow up with the question, or actually a solution. She says, when are our neighborhood streets, like Hazeltine Avenue, south of Ventura Boulevard, going to be finally resurfaced? My question to add to that is, and I was talking to Jonathan, I think, yeah, or Tommy, one of the guys, the other day about this. When you do your slurry coats, why spend the money if there's no enforcement or somebody to stand around? Because somebody always drives on it and screws up the slurry coat. So why spend the money if it's not going to be done the right way?
A lot of it is you get cooperation from other people there. But Tommy, give a workout. We'd like to be able to go with your association so you can blast out what the streets are. What are some of the other streets other than Van Nuys Boulevard that are being paved? Do we have that list?
Woodman, we just finished
Woodman, but the local streets. The bigger streets, you usually get a percentage from the county, from the proposition. But let's get the address, Tommy. Go out to the house, look at the street, and if it looks like a failed street, let's do something about it. I don't have a direct answer for you on the street, but Tommy's going to walk over and get your address.
All right, thank you, Tommy. Great job. All right, so now we have 4 questions all on similar matters, so I'm going to kind of ask them all at the same time. And people hate when I do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Charles Girardi, Joe Midler, Rich Dunas, and John Eisen all ask a similar question. Isn't it derogatory to write as you did about water conservation and then support the approval against the Ventura Boulevard specific plan to allow large multi-dwelling projects such as the Sepulveda and Ventura? Why did an environmentally and community-minded council person vote to approve Villa Toscana to make traffic much worse and with water issues an issue? And then we are in the middle of a 2-year severe drought. Why does the city keep issuing building permits for more and more apartments and development? and then we are in the midst of this. You got the flavor.
I got number one, just to let you know, there's an issue, there's an economy. Right now, the banks froze up for many years. Now they're unloading and making loans. Number two, jobs are real important. Many of us have an opportunity, but jobs are real important. If you don't have a job, it's pretty difficult for a family. And so there's an economy.
Sir, can you please control?
Right, that's all right. The other thing too is in talking to the planners, and I listen to the planners, and mind you, Richard, we've known each other over the years, but I've got intimate.
How many years?
30 years. But we got intimate when I came here 2 years ago as your council person. And I had to listen to people right away because this decision was made. I try to find a resolution as opposed to being a no guy. I try to find a resolution. So, and that's what I made the decision based on the information at the time.
Okay. I don't think the audience is really happy with that answer, but we'll move on. Okay, hold on.
Well, if you have an application, I'll listen to the community planner. Excuse me?
Joe, please don't shout out. That's not the way we do things here.
Arriving at Sherman Oaks and redistricting, this issue came up. Okay? I listen to the community planner and the city planning department. I listen to all sides. I didn't side with you. Okay? But I thought this was a fair situation. That was my determination as I went on. Housing is real important. Jobs are real important. Next to the center that is there, okay, next to the Galleria, housing nearby, that's what the city planners talk about. That's why I approved it.
Okay. Okay, this question is from Tom Grant. You here, Tom? Right over there. Will enduring the horrific signal timing for the monster market at Hazeltine be the norm for the community, accepting endless additional expansion projects?
What happens is our community plan has a guide. And the specifics of those plans, Tom, you know how many years were you with the city of Los Angeles? 40 years with the city of Los Angeles. That's a guide. It becomes so popular, your neighborhood, that you have the more intense or ticked up development. It's not a little neighborhood, it's a very, very much a strong village. In that situation, it's not all at right angles. They try to do what they think is best, and there needs to be adjustments, Matt, on the timing. No, I'm telling you, you read that question.
Okay. Speaking of the timing on that, Jonathan and Tommy met me and a couple people, Tom and a few other people on Ventura Boulevard a few times, and to work on that signal. And they did a good job, really good job, and they're amazing staff, they're fantastic. But the signal is still screwed up. It's a horrible mess, and it's not necessarily your department, but it's one of the departments that's in the city that can't get that right.
What I'd like to do is, Tommy, let's get Roy Kim, who's the senior guy out there, and Matt, who's the senior guy out here, okay? And the young deputy Matt can tell us about how bad it is, and we'll see if we can find a solution. Some of the best engineers are citizens like Matt.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I've been there, I've done that, and I'm happy to do it again. Thank you. Howard Tolles. Howard, are you here? Okay. Why don't we buy, I like this question, so I'm going to answer it anyway, since Howard's either shy or not here anymore. Why don't we buy the Super Scoopers instead of renting them?
Because they come from Canada, and it's a cost. The decision made, they come up probably pretty soon, although the heat wave is gone. It was 90 degrees in Portland this week, which would be that. They will come down to Southern California, and it's a lease arrangement.
Okay. David Rankel, is he here? You received criticism for your handling, it's another IVT question, for your handling of the IVT project north of the Galleria. The focus of much of the Sunkist property at Riverside and Hazeltine. How do you intend to handle the Sunkist development differently than the IVT development? Oh, that's
number one, Renee Weitzer is our planner, who's done projects like that and may be able to find resolution and has that skill. So that's what I feel very confident about.
Okay. This is a question about one of our favorite subjects, the Department of Water and Power. A lot of our friends say they do not know the official watering schedule. How can this be publicized more? Such as, what a concept, the DWP bills?
Absolutely, but they, on the DWP bills, but I try to strive for to have less information and more blunt information. I'm on the odd side of the street, the 1945, the even side of the street, the days that you're supposed to do it, and clarify it. And the reason why they split it up is because the last time that we had this problem, they said cut your water right now. So people cut their water, and what it did, it made the pipes explode. When we do odd and even, the pressure, it doesn't have the pipes break up as much. So this is something that's very important on that.
Okay. Speaking of, because I know you love saving the city money, the Department of Water and Power, 4 weeks ago, there was a city-owned water just pouring out in front of our house, but on the city side. I called it the DWP, neighbors called it the DWP. 5 days. 5 days we reported it. 5 days, thousands and thousands of gallons running out every day. I finally called Alice in your office. In 1 day, she called the city, or DWP. DWP guy goes out there and fixes it in 1 day, but it's ridiculous. This is happening all over the city. The Department of Water and Power needs to have a rewrite.
Well, I think what you got to do is, how many had a power outage in the last 5 days? What street?
Wycliffe.
How long?
8 minutes.
8-minute outage. How long was your outage?
About 2 hours.
2 hours. They are working very hard to try to keep it on. This is a significant load that is taking place. When I saw it, I happened to see the general manager the other day because I was in committee and they had this call service line that they had, and so another councilman was talking, I went to the wall phone and I called and punched through the numbers, and it actually was 57 minutes for service, which is unacceptable. Today, there was 0 wait time. They have hired people. And also the other thing, Matt, I think when you do have a problem, call your local representative, okay? Only because it sometimes accelerates the service. Okay. I'm just telling you, Matt.
I'm just telling you, Tom, not everyone knows a local representative, and it's our money.
Everybody in this room knows, and that's why we're addressing that, okay?
Okay, Tom. Next one from Sharon Landler, sorry. There were 2 speed bumps on my street. Speed humps. It's a B? Okay. People still speed. What can I do to get some enforcement on her street?
We have traffic officers for the Valley Traffic Division. We'll put that request in. We wish we had more officers to enforce it. We don't. But that's what we'll have to take to do it. It's terrible. A lot of times, what kind of car you drive, man?
A Ford.
A Ford SUV?
No, 1936 Ford Coupe.
1936. I saw a 36 Ford Coupe going on. It's pretty fast. Everybody's got to slow down. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Stephen Weiss from the Temple. There you go. We have 2 school questions, different schools, different private schools. Stephen asks, every day, every morning, dozens of Buckley school parents, faculty, and administrators. Can we keep it down over there? David, Tommy, shh. He lives on Stansbury and Valley Vista, your favorite intersection, right? So every morning, dozens and dozens of Buckley folks cross the double yellow and drive up the wrong side of Stansbury to get around the long queue of vehicles heading over to Beverly Glen. The neighbors have asked over and over and over again to get a traffic monitor on the corner of Stansbury and Valley Vista, which theoretically you would think that the school should pay for. What can be done to help this guy out?
Well, I just saw Jonathan Brand, who just left to work with him on that. Did Jonathan get out the door, Eric? Call him back in. The situation is, there's a benefit to your neighborhood for having a variety of schools at the same time for the community there. It's a benefit. I have other parts of our district that does have Catholic schools or private schools, etc. There should be mitigation plans that are here too. But also, sometimes the school can affect the driver, or the driver is thinking, I'm free or I don't care. We do like to see cooperation on that, Matt. And I hope Jonathan comes back here because he worked directly on that for Buckley School.
Okay, cool. I think Stephen just went outside to talk to him. Okay,
Got
good. Okay, this is from Hilla Corell. Hilla, you here? Hilla? Nope? Okay, I'll ask it anyway. The Harvard Westlake parking project is in an adjacent council district.
Correct.
But you know the importance of it. It affects many, many people in your community district. What are you doing behind the scenes to protect the district?
Well, I haven't done anything, but I want to let you know I do support schools. And if there's an opportunity to support a school, we're in a school now, I want to try to do it. I don't know the facts of Harvard Westlake. I know they got beat by Loyola pretty good the other night. But I don't know the facts, but I think you should articulate it. And if you drive by, and again, Renee, I don't want to butter you up any more than I do.
What are the facts?
When you look at Marlboro School, which is the third in Rossmore, and some of the mitigation that you put in to lessen the blow on the neighborhood, it does help. You want to say something on that, Renee?
What's really interesting, no matter what community you're in, every single private school has issues. It's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. But we try and work. Marlboro went through 10 years of enlargement, and we worked with all the neighbors, and you know what? Everybody's happy now. So there are ways of working with private schools, just like any other schools.
But the tough thing is we're in the valley. And in the valley, there's 7 big major access points. There's the 101 out by Calabasas, San Diego Freeway, Cahuenga Pass, Zoo, Glendale there, the 210, Santa Clarita, and the Ronald Reagan. That's it. 7 big freeways that get you in here, so all the smaller roads are taxed. And that cold water is taxed, so it's not an easy solution. But you asked the question, I answered it.
Okay.
And that's how we go forward.
Thank you. We have Richard Son do one more question, and I have a stack still. So if you want to answer quickly, maybe I can ask 2 questions.
Yeah, go quit faster, man. You're doing the whole thing. Give Matt a hand for trying to be Johnny Grass. Here we go, man.
Chuck Betts wants to know, who are you endorsing and why for your replacement?
Carolyn Ramsey, who was my former chief of staff. All these other candidates are very good people. I see them here. Mr. Davis, Mr. Knox, Joan, one of the finest deputies there. But I've worked with Carolyn directly, and she has passion and skill.
All right,
Her
that's
father, stop for a
supposed to be
second.
quick.
You check a person, I'm just saying, I know her. Her dad was a great coach.
Thank you very much.
Best out of people.
Okay. Jay Weitzer asks, is this the last question? No? Okay. In light of the enormous deficits facing the city, what is your position on giving the police their 8% raise?
I would like to compensate the police department and fire department for 24 hours a day. One of our challenges are of all the extras that go into any contract. It is being negotiated by the mayor and the president of the city council and Paul Koretz, who's on the pension, not the personnel board.
Okay, one more question, because you kind of addressed it earlier, but you really didn't. Randy Berkowitz? Randy, why are you giving me that look?
I just want to see Matt on the corner with a dead battery, and I'll drive by and show him my trunk with Mr. Bradley.
You addressed the 405, no.
Cut it out, cut it. Go
You
on,
addressed the
go on.
405, but not this issue
All right,
on the 405.
Let's hear it.
When will the off-ramps on the Sepulveda and the 405 be completed? That's the question.
We're going to ask the state of California, and I don't know that answer, but I also know Tommy Newman had an idea that in switching around, which he wants to work with you and your committee on maybe closing one of the off-ramps at peak hour to see what we can do. 1 minute, go to 1 minute, ask the questions. What's left? 1 second.
I can't read these. These are the ones I can't read.
Let's give a big hand for Matt.
Joel Okay, we need you to, we have a legal lottery, but we don't have a legal lottery. Well, why are we giving out direct tickets? Anyway, 4th, before we,
my old life.
before we ask you to come up to meet one-on-one with the councilman, next meeting, 4th Wednesday, it will be unlike any other meeting we've ever had. We're not like, Yaroslavsky's leaving in December, we're not going to let him make a speech. It is not a speech. It's going to be something unlike any other meeting we've had. With that, we'd like to thank our councilman and come on up to meet with him and have your